Welcome back to Desk Careers. I'm so excited to be introducing you to another incredible guest. Today we are zooming out to Ireland and welcoming Orlaith McGourty, who is the International Student Coordinator at UCD Quinn School of Business. Welcome, Orlaith. I'm so excited to have you with me today.
Thanks, Maria. Delighted to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Super exciting. I think you're my first spotlight in Ireland this year.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Brilliant.
It's really exciting to be there. And I know that we're definitely going to be wanting to talk about the UCD Quinn School of Business. But before we do that, I thought I can take you down memory lane back to your younger years when you were a teenager and talk to you a little bit about how you made your career choices.
Sure. Well, I guess when I was in secondary school or high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I left school. So one of the things that I did was kind of think about, well, what do I like? What do I enjoy? And I knew I was interested in travel. I knew I liked working with people because I had worked part-time all through school, waitressing and in shops and things like that. So I decided that I wanted to look at something like hotel management. So that's the pathway I went down. So I worked as a hotel management trainee for a year after I left school. But then I discovered that it was very unsocial hours, very long hours, very hard work. And while I was really interested in certain aspects of it, I decided that really I thought I should go and get an undergraduate degree, and then it would open more pathways and opportunities to me. And I could always go back to hotel management if that's what I then decided to do. So that's what I did. So I went and looked for an undergraduate degree then, and I found I did an arts degree in the University of Limerick in Ireland, which was a BA in European Studies, but my majors were in social research and French, which kind of fed into the two things that I was interested in, people and, learning about how things work and figuring out how to, get more information and things like that. So that's what I did. And then after I left college, I traveled. I lived in America for a year. I went and lived in Australia for a year. I traveled all over Asia. I traveled in South America, and I did various jobs along the way. So one of the things I realized was that I'm quite an organized person. You have to be if you're going to be traveling. So I'm quite organized. So I really enjoyed that kind of admin side, that organizational side, that structure. So I got a lot of part-time work in places in administrative roles. So then after that, I guess I ended up in a job where I was working with third level students who were coming to Ireland on education tours. And I worked in that for a couple of years when I got back. And then I realized that actually I really enjoyed working with students, and I really enjoyed that kind of education management side. So that's really how I ended up here. So I went into the role. I got a job in UCD. I work with students all the time. And now I'm combining my interest in international travel, culture, people, activities with that administrative side as well, and also working with students. So that's kind of how I ended up where I am. So it sounds a bit convoluted, but actually, if you think about it, it's the things that I was interested in all the way along that are now combined into this role that I'm doing here.
So fantastic. I like how you seamlessly weaved that pathway. And that's what I try to encourage with young people to understand. A career is not a static part of our life. It's not an experience that happens and that's it. It's really a journey, and it changes. I see the key for young people to look at their professional development in terms of how can it help me adapt to changes that I might have to face, and also make me competitive on that journey. So it's not about choosing the right degree. It's about choosing the degree, I think, that feels right and makes us competitive. But of course, understanding that certain professions require a very specific degree. Let's talk a little more about some of your tips. I know that you say that young people should find a role that interests them, that they should be building those skills and building that knowledge, and also working to the best of your ability. How have you seen those tips manifest in your own career?
Well, I think part of it is when I say that the work to the best of your ability. So even if you're in a job that you don't necessarily like, or you don't necessarily see a future in, it's really important that you give it your all. Whatever you're doing, you give it your all, because you never know where that's going to lead you to. So for example, one job that I was in when I lived in Australia, it wasn't something that particularly I enjoyed. It was very administrative, very kind of, it was a data management kind of role. And while I was good at it, it wasn't something that I really was passionate about. But I got the most amazing reference from my manager when I left there. And that got me a job, the next job that I went to, which was something I really enjoyed. So I think it's really important when you're in any kind of a role, work really hard, do work to the best of your ability, but also look for other opportunities that can come out of it. One thing leads you on to something else. Nothing is a wasted opportunity. They will always lead you on to something else. And yes, absolutely, there are very specific types of roles that require very specific types of qualifications. But for somebody like me, who didn't know what I wanted to do when I left school, I got a broader, more general qualification to get me on that pathway to open doors to other opportunities. And I guess if you're not sure what you want, that's okay, I guess, is one of my key messages. It's okay not to know. And it's okay to learn as you go along. And that ability to adapt, to be resilient, to learn about critical thinking, to learn how to be solution driven, to be a problem solver, all those things, all those skills are things you pick up through your education, through your life, through different things that you do, and you build those skills as you go along, and you have to learn how to adapt them to every situation you're in, and always look for the opportunity and be positive about it, because it might be something you hate, and that's okay. So move to something else.
I love you're singing my tune. Talk to me about the UCD Quinn School of Business. What makes it stand out of any other school of business that you've come across?
Well, I guess one of the reasons I was attracted to working here is because, like your school, they have this ethos of transformational learning, and they have this ethos of giving students the skills to prepare them for that workplace environment. So, but that adaptive mindset, that global outlook, that ability to problem solve, critical thinking, collaborative working. So that is, the pillars behind everything is this idea of transformational learning. So the idea is that you come in at a certain level, and that through the experiences that you have as a student, you come out a global, active, connected, citizen that wants to be really good in business, but you want to work in business and contribute also to society, that they're all connected. So that was something that really attracted me to coming here and to work here, because that ethos of, investing in our students and building those experiences. So students come here to do a degree, but they don't just come into the classroom. So we also have internship opportunities. We have a very active careers center on campus. We have an internship management team in the school. We do lots of mentoring with alumni. Our alumni contributed to building our new building, which you can see behind me on the screen. So we have lots of those connections to business, and we give students those practical experiences. So they're learning the theory in the classroom, but then they're learning how to apply it through the other opportunities.
So important are all of those things that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And also, would you say that those opportunities teach students and young people it's not enough to just passively sit in a lecture hall? You really have to take opportunities and go with them, because when we are looking for a job, jobs are available, but unless we actually, take the initiative to do something, it will be really challenging moving forward.
Oh, completely. And we're hearing more and more from employers, that they're not just interested in students who are academically brilliant, that they want students who have those other skills, those interpersonal skills, those leadership skills, those team working skills, those experiences that set them apart from the rest. So maybe it's participating in internship, maybe it's getting involved in Model United Nations, maybe it's working in a society, maybe it's being getting really involved in sports, maybe it's running an event, whatever it is. But all those things come along and are in the way of students, but they have to proactively seek to get involved. So nobody in university comes along and says, okay, Mary or Johnny or Maria or Orla, you need to do this, this, and this to get a job. We don't do that. It's up to students to take the initiative. So we make the opportunities available. There's multiple things the students can get involved in, but they have to choose to do that, and they have to proactively get involved in those things. But I guess from an employer perspective, those individuals that are taking advantage of those opportunities are, you know, they have a broader life experience, they have a broader experience of different types, they're building those work and employability skills. And employers really want somebody that has already been involved with sports or societies, or that are also good in the classroom, you know, but that's not necessarily in a lot of roles the key decider. It's all those other things the students are involved in that employers are interested in.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Orla. It's been
fun
talking with you. Learned a lot. Really, really important to connect the dots between what we're learning and how we can use those opportunities. And I can't agree with you more. We're also hearing from employers and talent seekers that young people have to be more engaged in gaining skills that are not just something they're taught. So it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for zooming out to me from Ireland.
You're welcome.
And that
delighted to be here.
And that brings us to the end of an incredible conversation. Today we were speaking with Orla McGourty, who is the International Student Coordinator at UCD Quinn School of Business. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at our next Desk Careers Digital Spotlight.
Thanks, Maria.